Hello and welcome to YNWA Transfer News, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this. Fabrizio Romano reveals, Liverpool, still determined to sign, Alexander Isak. Liverpool ready to push again for Alexander Isak. Liverpool's transfer window has been productive, but one pursuit has been in the spotlight more than any other. Arne Slot's side have made no secret of their admiration for Alexander Isak, the 25-year-old Newcastle United forward who has become the club's top target to lead the next phase of their development. Isak, a proven Premier League goal scorer, represents the kind of elite-level signing Liverpool believe can elevate them beyond their title-winning campaign last season. His pace, finishing ability, and intelligent movement would give Slot another cutting edge in a side already brimming with attacking talent. Isak's position and Newcastle's reluctance. Reports from The Athletic have painted a clear picture of the situation. Isak is understood to have no intention of playing for Newcastle again, even if he remains on Tyneside beyond the summer. He has been training away from the main group, signaling his desire to leave. Newcastle's reluctance is rooted in the obvious. They know they possess one of the most valuable forwards in the league, and with no ready-made replacement in place, they have so far resisted Liverpool's approaches. The Magpies swiftly rejected a £100 million bid earlier this window, and there has been no progress since. However, the longer Isak pushes for the move, the more Newcastle will have to face the reality of an unhappy star. Romano's update shifts the narrative. Fabrizio Romano's latest update has added fuel to the fire. Writing on X, he revealed, Liverpool will bid again for Isak, as always planned since July, when Newcastle open doors to his exit. No changes. This is a clear sign that Liverpool have not been discouraged by Newcastle's stance. The plan has always been to return with another offer once there is any indication the door might open. For now, it remains a waiting game, but Liverpool's intent is unmistakable. Defining transfer moment. For Arne Slot, adding Isak would be a statement. Move in his second season at Anfield. The departure of key figures in recent months has made securing another elite forward a priority. With Isak's age profile and proven record, the fit seems almost perfect. What happens next depends entirely on Newcastle's willingness to engage. If they hold firm, Liverpool may have to decide whether to test their resolve again with an improved bid or turn to alternative targets. If they waver, the Reds could land one of the most significant signings of the Premier League summer. Our view, Anfield Index analysis. For Liverpool, this saga has shades of previous drawn-out transfer battles. The key difference is that Isak's desire to join the Reds is now undeniable. His decision to train separately speaks volumes and suggests he sees his future in red. Supporters will be encouraged by Fabrizio Romano's words. It reinforces the idea that the club have a long-term plan and are not reacting impulsively. There will, of course, be frustration over Newcastle's stance, particularly given the player's position. However, this is a delicate balancing act. Overpaying could affect Liverpool's ability to strengthen other areas, yet missing out on a prime-age striker who suits the system would be a blow. Fans will hope that the board backs Slot in pursuing this deal to the finish line. Isak's signing would not just be about goals, it would be a symbolic show of ambition, proof that Liverpool intend to build on their title-winning momentum and stay at the summit of English football. Sent News. Liverpool push for Guehi Leoni and Mark Guehi as Romano confirms talks. Fabrizio Romano has provided a detailed update on Liverpool's transfer activity, confirming that the club are advancing on two significant deals. Speaking on his YouTube channel's latest podcast episode, Romano stated, Liverpool are in advanced talks for Mark Guehi. The agreement with the player is done. The player wants to go to Liverpool, and Liverpool are in advanced talks with Crystal Palace. Romano emphasized that Liverpool's relationship with Crystal Palace could speed up negotiations. explaining that both clubs are trying to reach an agreement for this summer transfer window to avoid a free transfer in 2026. Strong interest in Guehi Leoni. One of the most striking revelations from Romano's update centered on 18-year-old Guehi Leoni. Romano confirmed, Liverpool in direct negotiations with Parma, so club-to-club talks ongoing. Parma want more than the reported 30 million euros. Dispelling suggestions that Leoni needs convincing, Romano stated unequivocally, forget about the reports saying Leoni has to be convinced to go to Liverpool because Leoni wants to go to Liverpool. Leoni is convinced about Liverpool. No one can turn Liverpool down at this point, especially if you are 18 years old coming from Italian club. With all respect for Parma, Liverpool is on a completely different level. Romano also moved to quash claims that the deal might be agreed now, but completed in 2026. My information is that this is not true. As of today, Liverpool are negotiating to sign Leoni now, to bring in Leoni now, to have Leoni available now. Liverpool never discussed about that from what I understand. Fabrizio's view on transfer timelines. Romano's clear stance leaves little room for speculation. He stated, Liverpool want Leoni for now, and Liverpool want Mark Guehi for now. This is the plan. This is the vision. By firmly dismissing the 2026 delay reports, Romano highlighted the club's immediate intent to strengthen under current manager Arne Slot. Liverpool's push for both Leoni and Guehi could define their summer window and send a message of intent ahead of the new season. Wider market context. While Liverpool dominated part of the discussion, Romano also touched on several other high-profile moves, including the Gianluigi Donnarumma situation and Manchester City's pursuit of Rodrigo. However, it was his definitive statements on Leoni and Guehi that will most excite Liverpool supporters. The host closed the segment by underlining that the negotiation with Parma and with Crystal Palace is ongoing, suggesting that Liverpool fans should expect further developments in the coming days. As Romano summed up, this is a crazy end of the market, with many things happening, and Liverpool right in the middle of it. Isak goes full Kane in Liverpool transfer saga, and you never go full Kane. The Alexander Isak transfer saga is now officially scaling heights the like of which we may never see again. Isak, by now a player we are contractually obliged to refer to as the want-away striker, although in opinion-led pieces the poorly advised Swede is also acceptable, has somehow managed to go both full Kane and full Berahino in the space of about 3 days. And for an extra layer of entertainment, there is the response to all this from those of a Liverpool persuasion. We're not having a go at Liverpool fans specifically here. All football fans are one-eyed hypocrites to some extent or other, for many of whom the founding principle of any discussion of any issue around the sport is a Homer Simpson-esque. But when we do it, it's cute. But it is Liverpool fans currently showing both cheeks of their arse while performing some startling mental gymnastics that allows them to paint Trent Alexander-Arnold as a legacy-ruining disgrace for wanting to join the biggest club in the world, having fulfilled the terms of his contract, and Alexander Isak, a poor, helpless victim left with no choice but to go on strike and refuse to honor his contract after being held hostage by evil Newcastle, who are so meanly standing in his way when he wants to move to a rival in the same league. After the frankly drab and dreary sagas of this summer, your Mbomos, your Gyökereses. Let's all give praise for such an enjoyably messy and shambolic one landing directly in our laps at this late stage. The fact it's happening so late is all part of the fun too, of course. Like with Kane, Isak has realized to his apparent horror really quite late in the window that the club with whom he signed a 6-year contract that still has 3 years left to run don't feel particularly keen to just let him leave on anyone's terms, but their own Isak's agents aren't quite Charlie Kane level out of their depth here. But they also don't have the mitigation that sometimes we can all do silly things where family is concerned. Isak isn't their only major client, and while we're only speculating here, we strongly suspect they haven't, yet, had a motorbike. And all fake tire tracks installed in their office, but they don't have anyone else close to the Swedes' market value and desirability. It would be fair to conclude that while, sure, we must give them some credit for thus far managing not to scupper the deal entirely by giving away all manner of exaggerated details while attempting to impress a girl who turns out to be the Sun's showbiz editor at a wedding, they also are not the most experienced at extricating their players from suddenly awkward contracts via the negotiation of 9-figure transfer fees. We'll know more clearly where we stand if Isak's next step is to take a friendly stroll around a golf course. With Gary Neville, the Kane similarities, the 6-year contract with a club that turns out to be quite silly, the late-dawning realization that no useful escape clause is present, the even later-dawning realization that said silly club actually will do this, on their terms no matter how many toys vacate the pram, are all great fun. We honestly didn't think we'd see the like again after the cautionary tale that was summer 2021, ending as it did with Kane stuck and forced into a humiliating rehabilitation and an unpleasant situation all round that ultimately didn't really help anyone apart from, eventually, Bayern Munich. Yet here we are. Another world-class striker. Another aspiring striver of a club who don't really want to give their best player to the champions they still harbor long-term, if increasingly forlorn-looking ambitions to one day replace. Another huff, another bout of hypocrisy and whataboutery, even. The same desperate questions about whether the player can buy himself out of the contract unilaterally. Short answer, yes with an if. Long answer, no with a but. That alone would have been enough to get us through this last barren week before the Barclays returns, and brings with it the blessed relief of being able to just get back to the proper, real football business of squabbling about VAR and seeing which referees are definitely corrupt this season and in whose favor, and the very balanced and definitely not mental reaction from both sides. When Man United burgle a 1-0 win over Arsenal in an unwatchable abomination of a game on Sunday afternoon, but Isak had more. He is both the hero we need and the hero we deserve, thanks to these latest reports that he has left his house in Newcastle and moved into one in Liverpool. Do we know these reports are definitely true? We do not. But sometimes the idea is funny, enough that you don't need to go looking too hard for the truth. Thank you, Alexander. Thank you, Liverpool. Thanks you, Newcastle. All possible outcomes from here are now also funny, although our preference is as ever for the one that requires the most groveling and humiliation, because we are sickos. That outcome is, as always, Isak ending up forced to stay put, and George Costanza his way back into Newcastle's team, like the last month hasn't happened. But that's merely the best of several good outcomes. As long as there isn't a swift resolution to spoil everyone's fun, and the chance of that seems delightfully slim at this stage, we can all wallow a while longer in the grubbiness of it all. Thank you for watching. Like and comment. Subscribe.